peak in the early and late in the day, as voters either vote first thing in the morning and later when working citizens return home from work. Special voting for the Thabazimbi Municipal by-election was held yesterday on the 3rd of December 2024. A total of 4,748 special vote applications were approved, including 4,083 special votes at the voting station and 665 through the home visits. A total of 2,387 voters cast their ballots, recording an encouraging voter turnout of 50.2% when we closed yesterday at 5. Now, how do we ensure electoral integrity and transparency? The Electoral Commission reminds all voters and contestants that any attempt to undermine the integrity of the election process, including attempting to remove the ink mark on their left thumb, constitutes electoral fraud and is punishable by up to 10 years in jail. The indelible ink is but one of several security checks and safeguards built into the electoral process. The Election Commission continues to meet with key role players in this election: political parties, independent candidates through the provincial and local political liaison committees, abbreviated as PLCs. We continuously engage on the unfolding election process, the issues arising from the operations in various sides of the voting station. We further confirm that most contestants have agents at each voting station watching the conduct of the by-election process. The law allows these agents to lodge formal objections on any aspect of the process if it is not according to prescript. They will also observe the counting and finalization of results. Now, counting of votes. The Electoral Commission will, after the stations close, continue with the counting of all ballots. So in other words, all voting stations will then be transformed into counting centers. All this will be done, including the special votes that took place yesterday. All these processes will be concluded after we close the stations at 2100 hours tonight on the 4th of December 2024, with representatives from parties and contestants present. The result is produced for each ballot at the voting station. This result is co-signed by representatives of political parties and independents for correct recording of the count at that voting station. This result document is relied on for the processing of results to seat allocation. After the counting process, the Commission will allocate the seats. For the allocation of seats, we will apply the proportional representation for the local council and majoritarian winner takes all for all the wards. And this proportional representation, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes confuses political parties. In 2021, the ruling party, except for one ward, they did not get one single seat under the PR system, simply because their support was just under 50%. So calculations, the formula that we used, the ward seats that they obtained were sufficient for them to get the 11 seats in the council. Now, the results process. To promote transparency in the voting processes, the Electoral Commission established a mini results operation center, abbreviated as ROC, at the Thabazimbi Bioscope Hall, where the management of this by-election is taking place. The results center are there for political party representatives and independent candidates to monitor the voting, counting, and results processes. As you can see, each party and candidate will be allocated a working station where they will be monitoring as they will be arriving here later this afternoon. Parties and independents can raise objections to any alleged irregularities, both during voting and counting, with presiding officers at affected voting stations, and until 5 p.m. On Friday, 6 December 2024. So we are reminding parties and candidates that they should observe this Friday, 6 December, 5 p.m. to lodge any objections that are material to the results by 5 p.m. on Friday, 6 December, in terms of Section 65 of the Municipal Electoral Act. Once the election results are announced, such objections must be material to the election outcome and must be submitted in writing to this email address, objections@elections.org.za. Voter participation is vital to shaping the future of the Thabazimbi local municipality. The Electoral Commission thanks all voters for their patience and commitment to South Africa's democratic process. Let us work together to ensure a free, fair, and peaceful by-elections. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Nikki.
Thank you so much, PO, for that update. Very important, as we've just passed the midday mark in these particular by-elections. I'm going to open the floor for questions. Introduce yourself and the media house you come from, and then pose the question. Thank you very much. Any questions of clarity, any issues? If you are happy, we are happy. I know the media has been quite early on the ground. They joined us when we opened our voting stations at 7 in the morning. And for that, we appreciate all the efforts. And thank you so much for supporting this massive, massive by-elections. We truly appreciate. Any questions? Are we all good? We're good, ne? Yes, Junior?
Junior Kumalo from News in Africa. I think I've asked this question before, but I'm going to ask it again just to get clarity. There has been some concerns that have been raised when it comes to the access to voting communities, in particular with some mining houses not allowing some parties to go and vote there. The last time I spoke to yourself, ma'am, I think you had indicated that you had tried to communicate with the Minister of Mineral Resources. Has he assisted those parties that were not able to go into those particular areas? And has there been any complaints that have been laid by some of these parties when it comes to that? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other question? Yes, Ntate?
When you are highlighting the dangers of trying to compromise the integrity of the elections, you are even mentioning the cautioning those who may try to remove the indelible mark. Has there been up to so far any attempt, perhaps, that you might have picked up where people, one way or the other, tried to compromise the integrity of the elections?
Thank you so much. I'm going to allow the PO to deal with the two questions. Ntate Saneko, if there's anything you want to add, let me know, but the PO will deal with the two questions. Thank you, PO.
Well, thank you very much. In terms of access to the voting stations at the mines, we have indeed engaged after several parties complained that for campaign purposes, they were not allowed access. So fortunately, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Home Affairs was in town, and we presented this matter to him, because besides several attempts to write letters, only Northern Platinum Mine responded positively and allocated space for political parties. Both Anglo-American and Sianda had not responded to our letters. So the chairperson of Home Affairs then escalated this matter to Minerals Department, because those are people who work directly with the mines. I think the feedback we've gotten today was that they were even complaining that why did we escalate. In fact, the reason why we are escalating is because they were not assisting us at all. But as I'm talking to you now, 8 of our voting stations are within those mining compounds. Processes are proceeding smoothly. None of the political agents have complained about access. Political parties have been allowed to assemble their gazebos inside those mining compounds. So the process is running quite smoothly. So we are quite happy that parties are happy as well as independent candidates. With regard to attempt to compromise the integrity of elections, besides the fact that we monitor whether the person has not removed the ink, if you attempt to vote for the second time, our devices, the voter management device in particular, immediately we scan or punch your ID, it will tell us you voted at this particular station at whatever time. So supposing that I vote at SASA complex and then go and attempt to vote at the Thabazimbi Community Hall, the VMD there will tell the presiding officer that this person has already been processed at the SASA voting station. So our VMDs are linked, they are live, and you cannot even attempt to vote twice. So we have checks and balances, and we are certain that voters in Thabazimbi will not behave in a way that would want to commit fraud. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, PO. On that note, there's still a whole afternoon and early evening of our voters in Thabazimbi doing their electoral work. So on that note, thank you so much for joining us. We're available on our platforms for any other follow-up queries. I know all of us from here are going back to the voting stations and ensuring that South Africans are doing good for their own country. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, PO. Thank you, Tatisane. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will tell me. Good to see you. They don't have money. Oh, thank you, Theo.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, was that the senior theft? But somebody stole the cable that supply. But it's a 3 whatever face cable. That is why we are trying to get powerful fence and whatever, because we are going to, even in the evenings, it's as hot as this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I don't think the evening will be good.
Yeah, what's one?
Yeah, what's one?
You feel my one wish you I can look again to reach you you got a camera moving. You got 5 I would
Did you sleep with your aircon?
I had to answer the plane. I
never switch it off.
No, I wouldn't survive. I wouldn't survive. Yeah. No, it was hot.
Yeah.
No, but I know this area to be like that. Once we cannot pull up Limpopo, just accept.
Absolutely.
Yeah, accept.
Yeah.
Next week
I think today is 40 degrees.
Your boys.
Yeah.
Long weekend I'm coming. I'm going to Limpopo for the wedding.
Yeah,